Hey everyone. So I live recorded this game, but I got into a bit of a thing. My dog was woofing and it was too loud in the background. I was trying to tell him to, be quiet, emotions win, but it wasn't really working out too well. So we're gonna be giving you a post narration of this game. Now there are some pros of that. While it's not live and you kind of lose the immediate reaction effect, there's gonna be a bit more of a deeper, insightful analysis of this game. I'm gonna try to give you guys my in-depth thoughts as someone who does frequent black white, played it since the days of black white, and so perhaps this might be a bit cooler for newer players, like people looking to get into black white. But otherwise, I totally would understand if you prefer live narration. I have other of those on my channel, of course, and there will be more coming. But for now, this is what we have. Sorry for the inconvenience, and for those who prefer this, I hope you enjoy. So this is Obii against Sergi. I believe it's Sergi. He does have a lot of E's in his name, so maybe it's Sergi. I'm going to call him Sergi, though. That's just what I believe his name is. I think that was what it's pronounced on this podcast, so we're going to go with that. But both of these guys are newer to the black-white field. Obii has some history with regards to playing in team tournaments. He's got a 1-7 overall, I believe. Could be 1-8. Sorry, he had a win back in SPL 8 using stall against Zamag, but otherwise, in various SM and ORAS games, he has came up empty-handed, unfortunately. With that said, he has shown some promise as a player. He understands the game and how to build teams at a pretty strong fundamental level, ranging across a number of tiers. Black and White happens to be one of them, as shown by his run in Black and White Cup recently, whereas he is mostly known for his SM and ORAS exploits, as well as his time spent just kind of metagaming in lower tiers as a manager in recent years. He definitely is capable of playing in Black-White, and while he's ranked 8th in this field currently behind top 7 and in front of Luigi and Sergi himself, he should not be seen as someone that is necessarily a bad player, but rather just weaker relative to the stronger tier of players. On the other hand, Sergi, this is his first ever SPL World Cup Snake battle. He would never play Snake, of course. He's a black and white main. He's Spanish, and he doesn't really have any experience in these tour settings. However, he does have lots and lots of experience, years worth of experience in the black and white OU metagame. He's, I believe, a Ruins of Alph kind of main black-white player, sort of equivalent to, let's say, Exal in DPP. I believe that's EXCAL, that guy. But you could argue that Sergi's a better player, better pilot of teams, and he definitely is an ideas guy. I've scoured through his replays, and he uses some nice builds. He's definitely competent, but the real question is, can he play at this level? Can he pick teams at this level? And will it all come together and lead to a positive record, or will he fall short and live up to his 10th ranked expectations and do poorly in his debut? He is of the Wolfpack, so Tony is the manager, who has a good track record with regards to scouting talent. There are a couple of people he's missed out on, or a couple of people he simply didn't hit on with his predictions for them doing well on his team. But he still has a good track record. A lot of people, for example, Bugs and Ader in the past and whatnot. So definitely high hopes, but also potentially low floor for Sergi. But anyway, let's look at the teams now. I've rambled on enough about the two players. Initially, the matchup looks to be pretty even to me. I'd say I'd favor Obii 55-45, but really it might as well be 50-50. It's most definitely leading to a competitive game. The first thing to note on Obie's side is that he's got a balanced Marine team. It's most definitely going to be Scarf on the Polytoad or the Landorus. You could almost definitely say that to begin. Scarf Landorus makes a lot more sense on this build, in my opinion, seeing as it gives a fast U-turn leverage, also improving the matchup against things such as Alakazam, Garchomp, and Latios a bit more. And also, defensive Polytoad is nice. It is able to generate a lot of extra damage, chip, residual status, etc. You can run a plethora of things, such as Scald, Toxic Protect, Psychic for Toxic Proc, Ice Beam for a number of Dragon and Grass types, Encore, Perish Song. You could even run a Gem with Thief to get leftovers from things such as Ferrothorn and Jellicent. So that is definitely a potentially nice option on his side. The Thundurus is almost definitely going to be Thunder plus Hidden Power Ice plus Focus Blast. It's just a question if the last move is Substitute, which is a bit more common with Toxic Spikes, or Agility, which is good with both Toxic and Toxic Spikes Tentacruel. I'd say Agility is more common since World Cup. I used Agility twice in World Cup, and I've seen it a lot since then. Not that Substitute was really the norm before then, but I think it was kind of a split. And then, BKC, me, and a couple others, you started using Agility more. This is a phenomenal win condition in more offensive matchups. Anyway, speaking of Tentacle, it's going to be Scald, Rapid Spin, Protect. It's just a matter of if it's Toxic or Toxic Spikes. On this build, personally, I've actually used this 6 before with Toxic, but I think Toxic Spikes has a lot of merit, especially against things such as Jellicent and Tyranitar, which both happen to be on Sergi's side, so that is of note. In addition, going back to the third member of Obie's team, it's Ferrothorn. It's pretty straightforward Pokemon. It could be on my set, the Sleep Talk variant, if you don't want to run shitty Sleep Talk Landorus T, but I think it's more likely than not going to be double hazards. It revealed later it revealed later to be Spikes, not Rocks. So it was Sleep Talk, I know, from Movie Team. But yeah, it could be a number of things. It's almost definitely also have knockoff and one of Power Up or Gyro Ball. Power Up being a bit more common and consistent on these rain teams. Gyro Ball being for teams that are scared of Substitute, Dragonite, and Latios setting up without taking a Leech Seed or potential pivoting around against them to make progress. Landorus, again, I think it's Scarf. It could be Rocks, but I think it's just going to be Scarf on this Landorus. Earthquake, Hidden Power Ice, Stone Edge, or Sleep Talk, or Explosion, and U-Turn. And then last but not least, if it's not Rocks onto Ferrothorn or Landorus, which it happens to be Scarf, Rocks, Landorus, I'll let you know that now. If it's not Rocks, it's either Substitute Calm Mind, Wish Calm Mind, or Substitute Fate Toxis, Iron Head, Hidden Power Ice, or Icy Wind, and Thunder. That's really a nice set. If you get a knockoff on Heatran and Ferrothorn, or a burn off on Ferrothorn even, then you're going to do really well with that set against a team like this. Or just really in general, honestly. It's a phenomenal Pokemon. But it does require support of status and knockoff. But once you get kind of messy with the game, that Jirachi set could truly go off. Anyway, looking at Obie's team, the main means of making progress would be potential Toxic Spikes, knockoffs with Ferrothorn, Spikes from Ferrothorn as there's no removal from Sergi's side, and Thunderous T, no matter what set, is always a threat from the get-go. It can 2-kill everything. It can kill the Thunderous. It can kill the Landorus. It can kill essential non-Shoppleberry, Tyranitar. So yeah, it is really a threat. Now looking at Sergi's side, pardon me, we've got a nice sand balance team. He's making use of Jellicent, which is an interesting pick in the current metagame. It has Spikes from Ferrothorn as well, which is something that you will see on both teams and something you'll see a lot throughout this SPL. I'd imagine it sits at around 50% usage. It's just a phenomenal Pokemon right now, and Spikes are almost too good not to use, I would say. Anyway, Tyranitar, it could be the 4-attack Chople Utility variant, which is trending upwards a bit more, or it could be the more standardized and long-term norm of Black and White, being Stealth Rock, Crunch, Fire Blast, or Superpower Pursuit with the Chople berry as well. I think more likely than not it's Chople. I don't think Scarf would make much sense on this team. And Band is dying out. It's a dying breed. Maybe it'll come back this SPL. We shall see. Anyway, Ferrothorn, as I said with Obii, it's more likely than not a Spike setter with knockoff and one of the attacks in Leech Seed. I think it's probably Scarf Landorus on this team as well. You know the gist. And then Latios is most definitely Specs. Could be Sleep Talk, could be Trick. I think Trick makes a bit more sense in this team, making it likely Sleep Talk Landorus T, which is an unfortunate set. I really just like having it slept, but in some matchups it does work out, so that's fine. It could also be Sleep Talk Farrell, but I think that makes a lot less sense on sand than it does rain, because you don't mind eating the burn as much on sand as you're consistently making progress of your own, whereas rain, you want to take the sleep before you take the burn against opposing rain and whatnot. So yeah, anyway, Jellicent's almost definitely Taunt, Scald, or Nightshade. Nightshade being much more common as of late, with decent speed creep for Skarmory. Perhaps even Creeping Road to W is something doing that lately, but I don't think that's necessarily a thing on this team. And then last but not least, you've got Heatran. It's almost definitely going to be, especially defensive variant, Protect, Toxic, or Magma Storm. Usually one, if not both. It could be Lava Plume Protect as well with Toxic Earth Power. It could be the Rocker. Could not be. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, getting into the game, looking at leads. Personally, if I'm Obii, I always lead with either Landorus T if it's Scarf Rocks, or just Rocks in general, or the Ferrothorn. Just because you really match up well or make progress well earlier on in the games. And if I'm Sergi, it's more open, but I would probably lead with Ferrothorn, Latios, or Jellicent. Let's see what they guys like to go with, though, however. So we're going to see a Jirachi from Obii side and a Latios from Sergi's side. So I'm 0 for 2. Oh, there we go. Interesting play, interesting leads right here. So you're almost definitely going to see either a Trick or a switch to one of Heatran or Ferrothorn from the Sergi side, whereas if you're looking at Obii, the Stealth Rocks, he just clicks those. That's a pretty straightforward move. Whereas if you're not Stealth Rocks, you could either go for an attack, or if you're scared of Trick, you could just go to your Polytoad, which is pretty safe. The issue is you could be scared of a Rogue Draco Meteor, but I don't think he's clicking Draco Meteor into a Jirachi, considering he's likely especially defensive on this team. And there's also potential for a Ferrothorn pivot. So, yeah, Sergi, you either trick or switch, and Obii, you either Stealth Rock, you attack, or you switch. No, let's ease into this game. He's going to see Ferrothorn and Polytoad, so two scouting kind of cautious plays, leading to a net positive position for Sergi. However, he's going to be scared of the Hypnosis, or just to Scald Burn, go to Jellicent on the Ferrothorn. That lets him potentially taunt. So, he didn't like to Wisp the Ferrothorn because he was scared of letting Spikes up too early, which is a fine play. And he would be able to live. Oh my god, my dog is fucking woofing again. Alright, we're going to get through it this time. No matter, but sorry if you hear that in the background. I'm so sorry. This ruined my recording last time. But anyway, so you don't necessarily need to Wisp there because A, you don't want to get Thunderous in on a taunt, and B, you can always recover up later if you take a Whip, and Whip isn't doing it that much. It's probably doing about 70 to Jellicent. So therefore, taunt is a safe play. Obii was predicting the Wisp, I believe, without wanting to let the Ferrothorn take hits, and he wants to set up his Toxic Spike with his Tentacle. That's really the only thing you can make of this. You have to be Toxic Spikes if you're going to Tentacle immediately on Jellicent. You want to set them up early, because otherwise it's essentially 50-50. You stay in with Ferrothorn and Whip on a taunt, or you stay in with Ferrothorn and Spike on a Wisp, although you could go to Thunderous predicting taunt as well. So yeah, I feel like Tentacle isn't a play unless it's Toxic Spike predicting Wisp, and so that has to be it. So you know he's Toxic Spike Tentacle at this point, if you're in my position, just because otherwise it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because yeah, sure, you get Toxic off on Jellicent, but then he just goes to Ferrothorn, so it's not like a long-lasting impact. Like, if you was to burn, but you're getting a 50-50 type odds for a 30% burn on the second turn if you predict that right. I don't think Obii would look for that low odds, low net game potential sequence there. So yeah, anyway, taunt there from Sergi, though. It shuts down the Tentacle, so that's big. So now he goes to Polytoad on the Wisp. He dodges the Wisp, so that's positive, but I mean, unfortunate because it would have cut the Polytoad's lifespan in half, but it's not a big deal. We're going to see, Landorus might look weird there, but you got to keep in mind that you're never clicking Hydro Pump or Ice Beam if you're Obii there into the Jellicent. And Landorus is almost definitely Sleep Talk given that play. So he's predicting the Hypnosis, and then going Jellicent there is just another attempt to get his Toxic Spikes up. Now, he's going to Protect. Sergi's going to U-turn. Personally, I think that U-turn was misguided because Protect is pretty obvious. I think you Earthquake and then you double there. I think clicking U-turn was never the play, but I think he might have been scared of a Substitute plus Toxic variant from the Tentacle, which is a bit of an outdated set. So maybe you kind of question if Sergi's really up to date or something here at this point, just because you don't really know what's going on with him, what form he's in, who he really is. But ultimately, I think I'll have more of a questions answered later in the game on that front. But I wasn't a fan of this U-turn, and it does let the Obii side freely set up Toxic Spikes. Pardon me, just taking a sip of water. Anyway, on turn 7, another Toxic Spike is laid. I'd rather turn it in trade for a Will-O-Wisp, so that one lands. That's good. Now we're going to see a sequence of Scalds and Wisp, which pretty much sums up the lower black and white pool. They're just, using moves that don't actually impact that. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, these guys are just kind of fishing for the right opportunity. Obie's trying to get his Thunderous Key in unscathed. Eventually, we're going to see a Nightshade on a Protect. Is it this turn? Yeah, and that's going to prompt in the Thunderous to come in on a well-timed Wisp from the Sergi side that will also land. Not this time, but this turn here. Yep. And now Sergi has landed 2 out of 3 Wisps, so I'd say that about evens out for the miss before. Anyway, we're going to see Ferrothorn here, and now this is a bad play. Let me go back to this one. So, you get the Thunderous in on a Jellicent. You do get your burn, so at least it's on a timer, but your Tyranitar and your Jellicent are also on a timer. Now, you look at Sergi's team here, and you think, okay, so Obii either clicks Thunder into the Jellicent, clicks Focus Blast into the Tyranitar / Ferrothorn, or clicks H-Race into Landorus. The Landorus seems ridiculously unlikely to come out if you're on Obie's side, just because, what if I Agility or I Substitute? then like it's like you can't even break this up with U-turn. It's such an awkward position for him. Even if I'm on a timer, I still get more than enough hits to make use of that. So if I'm Obii, I don't think he's going to go Landorus here. If I'm Obii, I'm not clicking HP Ice. I'm always clicking Thunder to potentially catch the stand, predicting the Focus Blast, or clicking Focus Blast, trying to hit the Ferrothorn, or potentially even the Tyranitar, which the Tyranitar wouldn't come in just because Toxic Spikes are up, honestly. So if I'm Sergi here, my play is always Latios. Worst case scenario, I take a Thunder Paralysis, I still live the HP Ice after that, and I'm able to trick the Ferrothorn my specs comfortably. Now, sure, I guess he's scared. If he gets Thunder Paralysis and he subs up on Pyro or on Trick, then you're kind of fucked. But realistically, that's thinking a bit too far ahead in my opinion, just because like you've got to have him Thunder, which is like sub 50% chance. B, get fully parried, 30% chance. They get parried, 30% chance, and then C, potentially get fully paralyzed with a 25% chance of that. So I think that's a bit overly cautious, seeing as Toxic Spikes up, so you've got to play a bit more aggressively. And I think that if you don't go Latios here, though, you go Landorus T, just because, again, he's not going to HP Ice. You're probably Stone Edge. So after burn damage, he's definitely, if not in range, which I'm like 99.9% sure he is, to always die, then it's at least a decent roll to kill. And even if that doesn't happen on top of that, then you're forcing him out, or it's dying to burn after you hit, and you can't assume you're going to miss that in this position again. So, yeah, I just don't think he had the room to make a conservative play and go to something that put him on the back foot, like Ferrothorn, if it got Focus Blast. And, oh, I should have clicked Resume, I'm sorry. So, yeah, and eventually he does go to Ferrothorn. And Obii clicking Focus Blast there is a smart play, just because you can gain the potential most out of that by doing so much to the Ferrothorn. Because those spikes are not going to get up, and spikes were absolutely huge for Sergi. And we're going to see another Focus Blast there. It's only doing 25% to Latios, so after making the wrong play, Sergi makes the right play. That's fine. We're going to see the Ferrothorn here, and now a very good play by Sergi, getting that trick off, coupling the Ferrothorn. Well, yeah, it's going to be able to get a spike. Still, you're going to get leftovers. Unfortunately for Sergi, he's in power fighting and not recover. If that was a cover, this game would have been pretty easy for him, actually, I think. And we're going to see the Tentacle come in, picking the Ferrothorn, trying to get spikes up on his last legs. Nice play there. He Scald, and he gets the burn, which is huge. The Ferrothorn cannot bring it back. Ferrothorn's going to set up rocks. It doesn't seem to be Leech Seed, if I had to guess, which is fine. I imagine here we're just going to see a spin into the Tentacle, into the Jellicent from the Tentacle, just to force the Toxic Spikes on it. So, yep. So while rocks are likely up to stay for the next number of turns, Obie's an okay spot. Anyway, I think a Protect here is more likely than not just to get the Toxic on, and the Tyranitar is going to come on in. Interesting turn here now with the Tyranitar in. I don't think you really need the Tyranitar's health, because you're not going to be checking Thunderous one way or another, and with the rocks up, it's on a timer of its own. So you kind of just have to play around Thunderous at this point and just not let it in much, which suffocating it is definitely possible from Sergi's current position. So I think if you're Sergi here, you almost definitely click Crunch or Pursuit. But I guess it would be okay to go back to Jellicent, knowing that it's always going to Scald or Protect. So then you could get your health back with Recover that turn or Water Absorb. Whereas it's taking Burn plus Sand, negating leftovers, and then doing 12.5% each turn. So, like, I guess that's least risky, but I don't think you need the health on this Tyranitar, whereas you can immediately damage this Tentacle. So, loosening up the game for Tyranitar from Latios' Surf, and Heatran's Lava Plume / Magma Storm, and even U-turn from Landorus being a threat. So, I don't really agree with what Sergi does here. He goes to the Jellicent, but I do understand and respect it. I think it was a fine play. I just don't think it was the most aggressive play. And given that position, I think he could actually have afforded to be aggressive, just looking at risk versus reward. But anyway, Obii protects there. He notices his Tentacle is getting weakened by all of the residuals. Jellicent's just going to Nightshade instead of Recover. I actually like that play. You're getting damage off. You're not taking much from poison there. And now he goes back to Tyranitar on Protect, not a Scald. Yeah, that was a good Tyranitar there. Now it's a similar position. He's going to go to Ferrothorn on the Jellicent, though. No, that was a nice play there from Obii. Pretty risk-free, because it's always going to be Crunch if the Tyranitar stays in there. Like, yeah, now Heatran does get to come in, and we're going to see a knockoff. So, I mean, at this point in the game, Tran is knocked off. The Ferrothorn's weakened. I think that the Jirachi looks really poised to be successful in this matchup with Toxic Spikes and a Spike up. as well as the Thunderous probably gets another kill, and Scarflander's Tifa comes in is annoying, especially if Obii can get rocks up. Obii getting rocks up will be huge with this train now being knocked off. But anyway, that knock is great for Obii, but now at least Sergi's gonna get the fire off a lava plume, to get a burn, or maybe even a toxic. I don't know what his set is. Anyway, Politoad's gonna come on in here and lava plume, burn, burn, burn. Nope, crit, but no burn. Leaving it at 47%. Heatran at 86 after knock flakes. Justin's going to come in here on a protect. Obii doing a good job to not scald into the Heatran. It doesn't really threaten him because it would trigger the water absorb from Jellicent. I imagine we just see recovery here from Jellicent. Tentacle here made not much sense to me, honestly. I think recovery is really obvious. So I could use that as a Thunderous or a Jirachi outlet, but he elected to go against that, which is fine. The issue for Obii is, like, what are you doing here? You're just stalling for time. But on your protect, you're giving him outlets to switch to things. And you're not going to get your rapid spin off. Yeah, exactly. He's just going to Nightshade away. So now you lose one of your Heatran switch-ins, you lose a Surf switch-in, you lose a U-turn pivot, and you lose your ability to remove rock, essentially. Now he goes to Jirachi on a following Nightshade. Jirachi's health is insanely valuable in this position, given that the Bowthorn and Heatran are both crippled. And when he goes for Substitute here, and that's huge, because that means that he's Substitute, Bolt, Beam, Iron Head. H-Price is better than Icy Wind, but I think he revealed to be Icy Wind at some point. But anyway, if you're Obii here, you have a 60% chance to paralyze this Thunder and just kind of crack the game open. But instead, he goes for Icy Wind, and Sergi just has to go for the obligatory Surf. And not paralyzing, or at least taking your chance to paralyze this Latios, is a crippling mistake from Obii. It's huge. If this is paralyzed, and the game is such heavily swung in his favor, because you just can't recover. You actually get a knock up on it potentially from your Fire Thorn. It just is unfortunate. And he also substitutes again when he's faster on a Surf. And then he Iron Heads into the Jirachi, into the Fire Thorn. Really nice plays there from Sergi. This Jirachi's now down at 38%, and it's done absolutely nothing, and it's in Surf range. Fire Thorn has to come and take another Surf. Yeah, only 16%. But now he can knock off on the Hidden Power Fighting. That puts him at 9%. Essentially throwing out the Fire Thorn, which that's fine. At least this Latios is going to live forever now. But now Obii's position looks a bit less definitive to me, a bit less positive. He does going to get the Landorus out here, but if this is Scarfrock's Landorus, I always click it here because there's no way this Latios stays in unless it takes the U-turn. The play is always Heatran or Landorus, or just kind of tossing out the Jellicent. But he's going to go to the Heatran, and it's going to be U-turn, not rock. So that's going to make making progress for Obii even harder. I think he kind of mispositioned over the last number of turns, and now Sergi is going to kind of take control. Sure, we'll see the Protect here. Jellicent is going to reveal itself to be slower than the Psychic Politoad, which is going to take it out, leaving it at approximately 60% health. And a Tyranitar comes in here, nicely done by Sergi. Protect on a crunch. I imagine that it's just a utility tar or a very slow choice banded tar at this point. We're going to see Skull doing 26. And we're going to see that there. Okay, so now at this point, Obii must be scared of Custap Berry because he clicks Protect. Honestly, I always just Scald there, I think. But we're going to see that the Heatran comes on in here on the Protect, he's scared of Custap Berry, so he saved the Tyranitar. It's a nice play there. Sergi predicted Obii to predict the Custap Berry, predicted Obii to be safe, but honestly, I don't think I scout there, just in fear of this exact play happening. But I think we're asking these guys to play like some weird kind of predicting the over prediction or predicting the under prediction 3D level chess kind of shit. So I don't think you can really fault either of these guys for these play. I know a lot of people on Smart Codes were saying, "Oh, why did Obii protect?" But nah. I think that was an okay Protect. I mean, I personally would have scalded, just because the odds of Custap Tar on this team are so slim, because opposing Alakazam is a pain in the ass. I think it was most definitely Choppleberry, and it's never revealed. It dies the next spike with him. But yeah, Tran comes on in. Scald does not kill it in Sand now, and I think that he's going to go for the Earth Power to get a critical hit and take out the Politoad. Now, I personally would have sacked Chemicals there, got your Rain up, so then you could hit your Thunders, but I don't think that sequence mattered a ton. Now No, I don't. In fact, I think that Obie's way of doing it might have been better. I think that my thought during the game was probably incorrect. It is worth noting that yes, that critical did matter, but to be fair to Sergi, while he did hit 2 of 3 wisps, the one he did miss was on that Politoad. And again, Scald is not killing this Heatran. And also, we don't know how to try and spread. It could have been a roll, but I mean, I think the Chronicles was like spamming calcs after the game kind of obnoxiously, just saying how it might have mattered. And I get defending your dude. I do it all the time. So I'm kind of a hypocrite to call it obnoxious, just what they were doing. It happened. Not trying to point any fingers here, of course. So sorry if it seemed that way. I think that I worded that incorrectly. But anyway, getting back into the game before I make more of an ass of myself. At this point, the game looks a lot more even and perhaps even favorable for Sergi than it did 15, 20 turns ago. So he's done a good job clawing himself into this course. Obii got a bit sloppy, which kind of was the opposite earlier on in the game. Obii had a nice early game where Sergi was sloppy. So now at 10:48, it's 4-4, but everything's crippled, status or weakened, and hazards are up on both sides. So let's see what happens here. Landorus comes in here. I don't think the trend revealed to be protect yet, but it will here on in Earthquake. Yeah, that was a nice Earthquake there by Obii, but then is he going to be able to hold a double? He pulls a double, but it's a Thunderous. And at this point, you notice, okay, Obii kind of is suffocated because the Latios isn't dying and taking rocks. And the Jirachi is basically in range of Latios, so therefore it can't take advantage of coming in. So, yeah, Obie's kind of suffocated given the Protect Heatran fucking up the Landorus T's progress. And I think that at this point I was like, okay, Sergi pretty much wins the game. And from there, we'll pretty much see that happening. The Thunderous was an attempt at making a progress on a misguided switch, but now he's going to have to fire the Tentacle off to Latios. Now we're going to see a U-turn, I believe, from the Landorus. If I had to imagine, he just fired a Zatar. This would have been a good turn, actually. No. Wait. Here. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this turn here. Sorry. I'm sorry. I was fucking around for a second. This turn would have been a good turn to click rocks for Obii, just because at least that pressures Gladius. But I don't think it would have been enough sequences of switching around and whatnot where he could get into a position to win with HP Ice. Maybe? I'm just not showing the turns off. Sorry, my dog is woofing in. But yeah, anyway, if I'm here, Obii, I always click rocks. But then he'd have to fodder a Pokemon after the Tyranitar gets foddered. Because Sergi always fodders Tyranitar here, in my opinion. So I would click rocks, but like then you just get Latios, and then you have to fodder off the Thunderous, and then there's just not enough sequences, I don't think. So I think that Obii probably lost anyway, but maybe you could have had a chance like crit one with Stone Edge. I don't know. Landorus is full, so maybe we would have had the crit experience on this Latios. I don't know what the trans health is. I know it's like around 50 to 45 after switching into spikes. Would have been even less after rocks, but nowhere near HPS range, of course. Probably Stone Edge crit range, if not Stone Edge range outright. But I don't think it's Stone Edge. I think it's rocks, Earthquake, Ice, U-turn. So yeah, that's no matter. Obie's pretty much dead in the water at this point, but he doesn't even rock on the Tar Switch to give him some like desperation hopes of a choke crit win. U-turn, and Tran comes in. Tran pretty much gets a kill with Lava Plume. Thunderous comes in, no matter which it is. Obie's last-ditch plan at victory is going to be this Jirachi right here. He's going to click Iron Head, and it's going to flinch. Going to do 7%. So you're like, okay, I need 3 more of these flinches, maybe 2 depending on Thunder Rolls. And is he going to get them? As he's recovering leftovers as well. And he does 6 on this one, but it's going to Lava Plume, taking out the Jirachi. And that's going to end the game in favor of the Sergi side. He's going to end up winning 3. Oh, he's going to go to Latios, and the Earthquake doesn't matter. And then he's just going to die to Syrup. So yeah, Sergi, an impressive late game. Very impressive late game by Sergi, despite a relatively sloppy early game. Not a huge fan of Jocelyn in this metagame, but I think it fit nicely on his team. So a cool pick there. I think Obie's team was fine. I'm still not a fan of this Scarf Rock Landorus. I think prioritizing rocks and black-white is of the utmost importance. But aside from that, his 6 Pokemon were fine. And making use of that Jirachi set with Nox, Ferrothorn, and Scald, Bren's Galore, and even Toxic Spikes is a nice thought. So I think that Obie's team was fine as well overall, despite the one thing that might be a bit disagreeable. Obie's play early on was quite good. It was a bit over the top even. I think that he was playing at a level that might have been above that if people saw possible for him. So maybe we'll see more of that to come in the future weeks. However, he did get sloppier down the line and ultimately got outplayed a bit by Sergi, thus leading to his eventual loss, unfortunately. So pretty sloppy game, but not bad quality considering it's a 10 versus 8 matchup. And Sergi is going to bring it in for the Wolfpack, making them now up 2-0 with 2 quote-unquote upset victories. So good game. That's it. Sorry for my hypercam. Bye.